Ladies and gentlemen, if you thought you've heard everything, this story is probably going to give you something maybe you haven't heard, but I've got to warn you guys, this story is going to have some details that are probably going to turn your stomach just a bit. It's very difficult to listen to, and if you need to exit the video, that is your official disclaimer about this story, so we're going to talk about the details, and I'm going to give some of my opinions as well. But this beautiful angel that you see on my screen was failed by the world, the entire world. Not just her parents, but also her foster parents. So I need to make sure and preface that. This baby was failed by everybody. Beautiful little angel. Her name is Charisma Mariah Marquez, otherwise known as Anna Loera. Was born January of 2007, and her life ended in the most tragic way, in the most heinous way possible, by these individuals that I'm going to show you on my screen. Give me a moment. Let me pull their pictures up here. We'll get back to those other ones here in a moment. I want y'all to look at these pictures and tell me what crypt keeper was holding these people hostage. Do y'all see this man's face on the left-hand side of my screen? Like he looks like he needs to be like out of an episode of Tales from the Crypt or something. and I saw this and I said, damn, boy. Like you look like you just got out of like the freaking, like the Civil War or something. I don't know. Like, look at his face. You know what his face reminded me of? And some of y'all are going to be extremely mad at me. I'm going to pause this picture right here. But I've got to say it. Please don't be mad. But I have to say what he looks like. Y'all know what he reminds me of? I've got to do this. And I'm sorry. I'm a big Michael Jackson fan. But tell me... Tell me that this man does not look a hell of a lot like what Michael Jackson looked like in this picture. I am so sorry to any Michael Jackson fans out there. God rest his soul. But it was the first thing that I thought about. Like... He does look like he could have been on the Men in on the Men in Black, one of those little creatures on there. God, dog. This is just a level of ugly that I'm not used to seeing. I'm sorry. But this is just not an attractive man, y'all. I mean, come on. Like, I don't know what this woman was thinking. It must be something wrong with this woman. She must not have been able to get no other man on planet Earth or Pluto. Like she must have got a mail-ordered husband off of Saturn or something. There could have been no other man on planet Earth that she could have got besides this crypt keeper looking dude right here. Don't feel bad that I'm talking about his looks, because when y'all hear what this dumb fool did to this beautiful little princess, you're not going to feel bad at all. That I can promise you. Let me give you guys some details about this story, because this story comes out of a place called Maricopa County. We've talked about this before, in Phoenix, okay? But the Maricopa County Attorney's Office, they plan to seek the death penalty against two parents, and they're actually foster parents, so let me preface that. Not biological parents. And guess I said Saturn. This fool looks like a great value Al Pacino at 90 years old. You want to play rough? Okay. I'm sorry. You want to go to war? You want to go to war? Okay. I'll take you to war. Say hello to my little friend. Lord, forgive me, for I know not what I do. I'm sorry, y'all. That is one ugly ass man. Jeez. Ooh-wee. I had to let it rip on that one. I told y'all, don't get in your feelings. Hope y'all got some thick skin over here. Hopefully everybody understands. This is about the babies. Yes, I have jokes. Yes, I'm a jerk. I'm sorry. But look at his face. Damn, why do you have to look like that, son? Like it looked like you need to take like a sander and sand that crap off of his face. Like, why do you look like that? Gee whiz. Talk about somebody needing a facelift. This man needs a head lift. Look, I'm sorry. Let's get past that, okay? Let's get past that. The Maricopa County Attorney's Office plans to seek the death penalty against 2 foster parents accused of abusing and neglecting their adoptive children, not their real kids. So you'd have to ask, where in the hell were the biological mother and biological father? Would you guys like to hear about that part? I'll get there. We're not going to skip that. Adoptive parents abusing their adoptive children and hiding the body of this little girl who died after falling ill rather than taking her to the hospital like a normal human being would do. Okay? Police arrested let me get his picture back up. I can't even say a face. That's not even a face. That's not even a face. I'm going to get his picture back up here. Okay? Police arrested Raphael from the Ninja Turtles. Excuse me. Raphael and Maribel Loera in January of 2020 after police and firefighters discovered a child's skeletal remains in the attic of their Phoenix home, as well as numerous signs of abuse on their other children. How many other children did they have? Maybe I'm assuming at least 2. Court documents say that Raphael told investigators that he waited several days after his adoptive daughter, who had been renamed to Anna Loera, they gave her her last name, had become very sick before taking her to Phoenix Children's Hospital. But Anna began to vomit and convulse in the car and died before they reached the hospital. Court documents say that she was 11 years old. Fearing he would lose custody of the other children, Raphael drove back home and hid Anna's body in the attic, where her body remained for years. Not minutes, not hours, not days, not weeks, not months, not year, multiple years, plural. What kind of sick crap is that? The smell? Have y'all ever smelled death before? Have you ever heard somebody describe what a human corpse smells like? It is by far the most distinctive thing that you can smell. There is nothing on planet Earth that smells like a dead human corpse. It emits a smell that is strong, and you would smell it for, like, I don't know really how widely you would smell it, but if you were like in a neighborhood within close proximity, maybe a house or two over, you would smell it. You would notice it. Very noticeable. But let alone other people not recognizing this, how on God's green earth do you live in this house? Something is wrong with these people. Think about this. Not only did they live with that smell, but they forced other children to live with that smell. What does that do to the other children? Do they just, like, not only do you not tell them what happened, but they smell the smell in the house. That's probably why that man's face looks like that. That looks like the face of a person that is used to smelling dead human flesh. It looks like his face is literally rotting on the screen. That dude's face looks like foot rot. R-O-T. Foot rot. Have you ever heard of foot rot? Where the foot, if it stays in moisture for so long, the foot can actually start to decompose. When soldiers used to fight in war, if they didn't keep their feet dry, they could get foot rot. Their foot would literally fall apart. It would decompose in their boots. That's what his face looks like. A decomposed foot inside of a boot. It's the truth. The Department of Child Safety removed the other 3 children. So it was 3 other children. 2 of whom were siblings. Oh my goodness. Siblings of this little girl. But both Raphael and Maribel Loera were initially arrested on several counts of child abuse, but prosecutors later refiled the case, charging both parents with first-degree murder among additional other charges. And I hope London hears my voice. If you guys will share that story, if you guys are out there listening in another country, especially in London, this is how you get justice. This is how you look at a situation and realize this is egregious. We probably should give these people life in prison, maybe even the ultimate penalty under law. That's how you get justice. First-degree murder among other charges. Prosecutors submitted intent to seek the death penalty against Raphael and Maribel on Wednesday, nearly 2 years after their initial arrest. So you guys have to understand, this story didn't just come out, but these details did just come out. These stories take a little time sometimes. Sometimes it takes us a couple years to get to this point, okay? If they are found guilty of first-degree murder, if they are found guilty of first-degree murder, MCAO, and I'm getting this information from azcentral.com, so thank you, Arizona, for the article. MCAO provided the Arizona Republic copies of the filings on Thursday afternoon, which state the Loera's crimes were especially heinous, cruel, and depraved, while also violating their special relationship as caregivers. Priscilla Marquez, who is Anna's biological mother, let me get this big turd on my screen real quick. If you guys want to see a big turd, I'm going to put it on the screen. I'm sorry, but I just don't have a lot of respect for this woman who you would call the biological mother, because I'm sure y'all would love to know where the biological mother and biological father are. This is the biological mother, Priscilla Marquez. So I'm sure y'all are wondering how this little girl and her siblings, so multiple children. This woman didn't lose one kid. She lost multiple children. This is Priscilla Marquez, Anna's biological mother, who had originally named her Charisma, told the news on Thursday that she wanted both parents to serve life in prison without an execution, potentially cutting more time they could have spent reflecting on their actions. Later, she said she was happy with the state's decision to pursue capital punishment. Raphael and Maribel Loera are scheduled to go on trial on March the 1st, which is exactly a month from now, though it's unclear whether the new filings will delay it further. How many of y'all want to take a guess as to why the biological mother lost custody? Does anybody want to take a guess? Let me give you guys the fair usage. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. And if you guys are listening to this story right now, do me a favor. We want to have one thumb up for everybody that's listening. If you guys would, please do me a favor and click that thumbs up. It'll help share this story and let more people know that we are talking about this, so that way we can share it. YouTube will notify more people if y'all click that thumbs up. All right, let's get it.
Now to our big story tonight. We're digging into the past of the Phoenix parents accused of abusing 3 of their children and potentially covering up another death.
All of this unraveled at a home near 59th Avenue in Camelback when investigators found human remains inside the burning house. And tonight, we've learned the father in the case had a job dealing with kids in a West Phoenix school district.
Team 12's Erica Stapleton is live outside of Sierra Linda High School, where Raphael Loera used to work. Erica?
Hi guys, Raphael Loera was an instructional assistant here at the school, according to some district records that we found. We talked to students too who say they remember him walking the halls, helping students, and are just in disbelief about what he's allegedly done at his home. A house of horrors.
There are allegations of extreme abuse involving several children.
Maribel Loera accused of abusing 3 of her children and possibly causing the death of another child.
She allegedly participated in concealing a body of a deceased child in the family home.
Her husband, Raphael Loera, allegedly admitting to investigators he let the abuse happen and that he set his home on fire and tried to kill himself. This all started January 20th when DCS took an 11-year-old girl from the home after she called police for help. DCS came back 8 days later and removed 2 other children, a 9-year-old boy and a 4-year-old girl. About an hour after that, smoke was reported coming from the house. When firefighters got there, they found human remains inside, but the medical examiner has not told us yet the age of the victim or how they died. The whole case, troubling.
The stuff they found inside his house, I used to see him on campus walking around.
Guadalupe Vasquez used to go to Sierra Linda High School, where district records show Raphael Loera was at one point an instructional assistant.
Let's take a pause for the cause. Let's take a pause for the cause. Because in the article I read, they didn't mention that part. But for those who were listening, yes, you heard that right. He tried to set the house on fire, which included the child in the attic. So I'm assuming he probably started it probably in the area of the home where the little girl's body was to make it seem like it was an accident, maybe. Can we get a hashtag babies for benefits in the chat? If you guys are not familiar with the hashtag babies for benefits, just like babies lives matter, it's an AFC hashtag, and we use that and we created it so that we can describe these things in a nutshell, to say that these people only have these children so they could get a check. They didn't love these kids. They didn't care about these kids at all. They are not human beings. They are not from this planet. I think we need to send them back to whatever planet they came from. Hashtag babies for benefits. That means they benefited off of these kids, got a bag, didn't care about these kids. And if you guys are wondering about the biological mother, I'd actually like to play y'all the video of the biological mother speaking. Can I do that? Hit that thumbs up for me, please. If y'all want to hear from the biological mother, I've got her video. And if you guessed that she was probably doing drugs, then you guessed correctly. The biological mother lost her kids because she chose drugs over her kids when she could have just not produced kids and kept your drugs. I don't care if you ruin your life, but it's not right. And let me repeat, I don't think it's right, and I think it is highly irresponsible and selfish if you have a choice to produce kids and still think that you can be selfish. I'm sorry, that's not right. That's not fair. If you want to go date thugs and go do drugs, then you do that and don't have kids. Why is that so hard? We got 113 ways of not producing kids. So if you produce a kid in the past 40 years, you chose to do so. You had options that you didn't have to, right? What about safe haven? Yes. Condoms? Yes. Birth control? Yes. Shot? Yes. Neuvering? Yes. Abstinence? Maybe. There's a lot of things that you could have did to not even get to this point. I'm sorry, but when we get to that mother's interview, I don't have much sympathy for her at all. I don't think they should have. Let me not say that, because I did want to hear her speak. But she definitely doesn't need to be speaking in some high righteous way. That I know.
She remembers him working there back in her sophomore year about 4 years ago.
It's just weird to think that he could do that because he didn't look like he could do that, you know.
And with her relatives now at the school, she's having a hard time processing the allegations.
He seemed very, just nice, caring. And I just assumed so because he was helping, but you never know,
Other students we talked to say Rafael worked with special needs students, although the district would not confirm what his job was or how long he was there. They could only tell us an employee had been arrested and would not be returning back to the school.
If he did do it, it's, disgusting, and it's so crazy to think that he could be capable of something like that.
So I want y'all to think about that. This man was around people's children. There is no telling what he did, what he said, how he behaved around other children. Y'all don't find that scary and frightening? Knowing that he's this depraved? Let's keep going.
Questions how a Maryvale couple now facing child abuse charges was allowed to adopt children. Last week, investigators found the remains of a child inside the home of Maribel and Rafael Loera. One of their adopted daughters has been missing for nearly 3 years. Carissa Planout is joining us now live at the Lower Buckeye Jail Complex where the couple is being held. Carissa?
Yeah, Chris, so far I've only been getting partial answers from the Department of Child Safety about what they knew about this couple, their household, and the kids that were placed in their care. Today I spoke with a Valley attorney who has taken on DCS before, and he talked about how children fall through the cracks.
What's tragic is that the child welfare system is supposed to be there to save these kids.
Attorney Robert Pastor says systemic problems with the Department of Child Safety can lead to horrific outcomes. Child's bones discovered last week in the home of Maribel and Rafael Loera. Court records say their adoptive daughter, Charisma Marquez, also known as Anna Loera, hasn't been seen or heard from since 2017.
What did you do to vet the Loeras to make sure that they were capable and could care for these children and weren't going to be abusive?
Pastor, who is not involved with the Loera case, says families are investigated before they can adopt, but mistakes happen.
You've got this sort of perfect storm of inadequacies, lack of staff, lack of training, and lack of tools that allows these problems to occur.
The official word from DCS is there were no foster children in the home when the Loeras were arrested. What we do know is DCS no longer contacts a family once they adopt. DCS also tells us there were no open investigations involving the Loera home. The agency failed to answer our questions about whether there were any previous investigations.
What did they know, and what did they do about it?
The medical examiner's office is trying to identify the bones that were found in the Loera home. Right now, the couple is locked up here on charges of child abuse and hiding a body.
A set of adoptive parents are now being charged with murder after investigators found the remains of a 13-year-old inside the attic of their burn.
I think I'm going to skip some of this. You guys got most of the details. I'm going to try to get to the mother's interview. I'm going to play this one more video, and then we're going to talk about this mom's interview. The biological mother, if you can even call her that. That's all she is. She's just biologically a mother. She's not a mother.
I'm one of those neighbors like I never would have thought next to me.
Disbelief that this man's neighbor, 56-year-old Rafael Loera, is in jail tonight, charged with arson, child abuse, and concealment of body parts.
The guy seems like a good guy. The male there that lives there, he's an older gentleman. Said he works at a school or something.
Sources confirmed that Rafael Loera worked as a teacher's aide at Sierra Linda High School in the Tolleson School District.
He doesn't seem like a guy that would hurt somebody.
Police say on January 20th, they came to this home because an 11-year-old girl called to say she was scared and alone. Cops found evidence of child abuse, and the Department of Child Safety took custody of that girl.
When we came out here on January 20th, the 11-year-old was the only child in the home at that time.
Then yesterday, DCS came back to the house, taking away 2 more kids, ages 9 and 4, after finding more evidence of child abuse. Police say just about an hour after DCS took those kids, someone called to report that the house was on fire.
Phoenix Fire Department gets out here, they make entry to the home, extinguish the fire. When they're in there, they discover what they believe to be skeletal remains. So, as you can imagine, this is a very complex investigation.
Phoenix PD arrested Rafael Loera and his wife, who is also facing a charge of child abuse.
There she is. That's her first birthday.
Let me warn you guys. This is the biological mother. This is the biological mother. I want y'all to listen to what she says. I'm going to let it play, and then I'll give my opinion after it plays.
There she is. That's her first birthday. I was actually at work, and I got a text message from my dad for me to call him. And he said something bad happened. I said, to what happened? He was like, it's charisma. And I said, what's wrong with charisma? And he said, it's the worst that you can think of. She was a very happy little girl, very spontaneous. She had a lot of character. Her name went with her. She was very sassy, a sassy little girl. She was going to be the little cheerleader. She had this kinky, curly hair that when you pull it down, it slinks up.
She was bouncy. Like, she made you happy. Like, she could walk up to you, and just by looking at her face, you're like happy. And you could be in the downest mood, and all of a sudden just joy walks into the room.
She brought sunshine to everybody's sadness. She was never sad. So I don't understand, how can you hurt an innocent child? Like, what was going on for her not to be smiling? For you to be hurting her? What was the reason to adopt them? Because it wasn't to give them a happy home, a better life. I was battling a meth addiction. I've been clean. In September, it'll be 7 years addiction. I've been clean. In September, it'll be 7 years. I told myself life. I was battling a meth addiction. I've been clean. In September, I was battling a meth addiction. I was battling a meth addiction. I was battling a meth addiction. I've been clean. In September, it'll be 7 years. I told myself to make myself better, to get a good job, to be able to grow for when they do come looking for me. I would have a home for them to come back to. I would be stable for them because I knew one day that would come. Unfortunately, it's not going to come with charisma.
Are you guys ready for me to break this down? Do I feel sorry for the biological mother? The answer is a resounding no, ma'am. No, I don't. Here, let me tell you why. I don't think that when you choose something else over your children, whether that's a man, whether that's money, whether it's drugs, if you choose anything over your children, I don't think you have the right to speak on what happens to them or where they end up because of your actions. These children were taken out of your custody because of yo ass. You hear me? It's your fault, ma'am, that these kids are taken and left in the system, and the system is not designed to keep these children permanently. That's not what the system does. What the system does is it hopes and prays. Can we get that in the chat? The system hopes and prays. Please, somebody type that. The system, CPS, Child Protective Services, foster homes, hope and pray that they can find another suitable house, suitable candidates for these children. They have no idea. The system is not designed to vet someone perfectly. It's an imperfect system. How the hell are you going to know if somebody is taking children just to get benefits off of them? You don't know. It's a guessing game. So therefore, the responsibility has to lie where? Biological mother, biological father, right or wrong. That's where you have to put 100%. No, I'd say the initial portion, 100% of the blame. But you also can hold other people accountable if you decide to bring those children in, change their name, change their identity, bring them into a world that they're unfamiliar with, then you are 100% held accountable thereafter. You can't look at this situation and say, well, why did they take these kids? They take these kids because the kids are there to be taken. Hello. Miss Self-Righteous, can we knock this big woman off of her high horse just a little bit? Knock her butt right onto the ground. Because I want her to be grounded and understand that you, ma'am, don't get to ask questions like that. Why did they take the children? Because we could turn around and point that finger right back at you and say, why did these children end up in this situation to begin with? Therefore, you have to look at yourself. And a person who really has moved past their alleged drug addiction, if that's the case, would at least learn in a program, and I think that you should have been in a program. I don't think you just kick a drug addiction. I think you have to be in a program and get some real rehabilitation, right? So if you did that, then one of the first things that they tell you is the first thing you have to do is you have to accept responsibility. If I'm wrong about that, somebody can let me know if that's not the first step or one of the first two steps. You have to admit there's a problem and accept responsibility. She didn't admit, well, she did admit the problem, but she didn't accept responsibility, in my opinion. In my humble opinion. I don't think she gets it. I don't think she understands. And yes, I believe that there's going to be a GoFundMe. Give it 2 months. Let's be fair. Let's be fair. Give it 2 months. This story has got a little bit of airtime. I think that in 2 months, I'll be willing to bet somebody $100 that there's going to be a GoFundMe that's going to show up and she's going to be asking $10, $15, $20,000 to give her daughter the best funeral that is possible in this human life. Guarantee that that's going to happen. And somebody's going to have their heartstrings plucked on, and they're going to feel sorry and put hashtag #NoFundMe. Thank you. Thank you for that. That's why we're live. Hashtag #NoFundMe. You were not a parent. You don't deserve money. You caused this to happen. Therefore, you should not be the beneficiary of anything financial. If anything, I think you need to be admonished more than rewarded for the death that was caused by you putting your children in harm's way by saying, I'm going to give my children to the system and hope that something good happens while I go out here and I'm going to go enjoy putting my mouth on this and putting my mouth on that and putting this up my nose and putting this up my arm or my butt or whatever it is that you were putting this meth. I don't know how you smoke meth. I don't know. I don't know nothing about meth. I don't know. Do you eat it? Do you sprinkle it in your cereal? I don't know. Do you take meth and squirt it on your hot dogs? But if you ask me, I don't feel sorry. She don't deserve any GoFundMe that's probably going to pop up. She's not a victim. You are a perpetrator of abuse, violence, and neglect. You were the first person to neglect your children. Therefore, I think that your say-so should start and end right there. These people are also extremely heinous. Not only for living with the smell, for what they did to this kid. They probably caused the death of this kid, but we can't prove it. But then to set the house on fire also, like, damn, dude, like, just... With a face like that, only the devil can love you. I'm sorry, but that is just a very, very unattractive, alien-looking face man. But let me say something about this. I'm going to pause it right here. Because if I had to pick my favorite picture of this baby, it would be this one. This little girl cannot speak for herself. She cannot defend herself. Her mother didn't defend her. Her father did not defend her. The state did the best it could to try to find a halfway decent home to put her in. And it's just... It's not, you just can't vet these people well enough. You can't investigate these people well enough. And I'm going to call her by her biological name, the name that she was given by her alleged mother, Charisma Marquez, young princess, R.I.P. The entire world failed this baby and her siblings. But thank goodness, at least there is some positivity. Let's not forget that. There's some positivity because the siblings at least survived this. And that in itself is a blessing. So keep them in your prayers. Keep the children in your prayers, okay? But thank y'all for listening with an open mind as well as an open heart. We believe babies' lives matter. Thank you.